We are so often controlled by stories. Old stories of pain, old stories that have warped our belief and our connection with the self, the soul, otherwise known as the inner child. And at some point, you might begin to feel that you are tired of this old story, that you are almost wrestling with your emotions now. Not in a self abusive way, but almost a struggle of narrative to say, I know I'm feeling these feelings about this old story, but part of me wants something different now. I want a new way of perceiving things and seeing things. If that's what you're feeling, this is a wonderful place to be. It's a place where you are really going to start moving in the path of who you can be when integrated with both your ego and soul. I want to share with you a story of one of my clients. I just got off a video call with him about an hour ago, and we had a wonderful breakthrough today, and I want to share with you, and hopefully you can take something from his story. This man, he's a middle-aged gentleman, and there's a complex he's dealt with for most of his life. He's had a mother complex. His mother never, under his accounts, has given him an I love you, verbal or even physical. He's never felt a consistent warmth from her. He's also been told that she, the mother, had wished that she received a daughter, and has repeated that to him multiple times. This has left him with a sense of betrayal and disappointment. But what it's done to him is that it's now made that complex bring up itself into the surface of his conscious mind and has caused him to have this craving for love and intimacy, this desire for companionship. Now, to flesh out his character more, his archetypes, which archetypes are primordial cross-culture patterns that we inhabit, his archetype is of the child. Innocent, pure-hearted, playful individual. This complex has brought out of him this strong desire to bring people in, to have them feel that he is not judging them, that you are welcomed and accepted no matter what. But every archetype has its shadow, its dark aspects. And the shadow of the child can be naive, obsessive, easily manipulated. And so a lot of his life, he has not known the boundary, and the archetype and complex have taken possession oftentimes, made him say things that rushed a relationship, shooed off particular people. And combining that with also a martyr archetype, he feels the need to sacrifice his well-being so that others can feel loved and welcomed and warm, so that maybe then they'll accept who he is. And maybe then they'll bring him in. And of course, you can imagine that without understanding the function of the archetype and complex, it will have a mind of its own little personality and goals for you. And today we uncovered those for him. We discussed, and I've been working with him for quite a while now. These things take time. It's not right off the bat. Slow and steady approach is the way I go. And today was a big moment for him, where his old stories no longer fit him anymore. This new insight has caused him to reimagine the story, that he is now the wiser version of that innocent child. that now that he can start to see the both light and dark elements of that archetype and complex, that by seeing both sides, he can now begin the process of the integration, bringing those two worlds of ego and soul together, so that moving forward now, he can be his most expressive child, his most expressive martyr, to put himself oftentimes behind other people, but then also knowing the boundaries, understanding that he needs to set his limits. And the ego comes in and protects that element. And one advice that I gave him that's been working wonderful for him is in the pursuit of friendships, that he will give and give and give, even if they don't return it back. Because of the complex, he feels he needs to prove something to them to earn their validation. But the boundary set that says, give yourself the martyr, give them the innocent child, present that to them. And if not reciprocated, and now you're getting this impression that you need to prove yourself to them, that is not the relationship to be in. It's time to move on. No hard feelings, no judgments, no anger. Move on to the next individual. And the more you present yourself in that way, it will attract the right people into your life. And I say that because he's been struggling with that for a while. And for him today to have that revelation, as he said, has allowed him to now reinterpret his old story, to move forward now more integrated, more holistic. And he can be more curious and adventurous about himself now versus before it was, these are the bad me and these are the good me. But there is a split that happens when we do that. We split the soul, push it down farther away. They're both within the same thing, both sides of the same coin. I hope that his story allowed something for you to draw from. It was a moving call that we had, very powerful for him, made me emotional to see, as biggest reason why I'm doing this is so that I can bring people more into their integrated self, have them see more of themselves and express it. I've lived most of my life in suppression of the soul because of my own things that I've had to deal with. And I've had to seek to prove myself through winning multiple titles in jiu-jitsu, opening a business and making it 6 figures within a couple months, doing all those things to prove something. But when I came to the discovery that it's all trying to be healed through the ego trying to heal itself somehow, or the complex rather, often trying to heal itself. And so to see him have a moment of clarity, that he doesn't need to reject himself anymore, that he can now actually be a little bit more of himself, was something absolutely incredible to see. And so I hope that his story drew something for you. And if this resonated, click the button below. It'll send you over to my website and join our private community where I do a monthly newsletter on my Rule of 3 method to rebuild purpose into your life, rediscover who you are, and integrate the ego and soul so you can live a meaningful, rich, purposeful life. It's something that I've always wanted to have when I went through that period, and I am beyond excited to share it with you and have you guys be a part of it. And that's what I want you to know this community is. It's a community where you can have the comfort and safety to practice expressing, practice integrating, talk about your challenges, and have other people resonate with it and share their own. And so we can grow and unite and be as much of our unified self as possible. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.